Good evening.
So what did you make of his explanations? I mean, was he believable?
I think he was authentic in his approach to everything. I think that he was trying to be honest. I mean, if you're living in London, you have an autistic son, you're being hounded by people. I think that was a damn good reason for him to up sticks and go down to his parents.
He had a better option, didn't he?
I also feel that, the situation is the one mistake he made was taking the drive, even though he did say he felt sick that's why they stopped off and sat down. However, he's got my full support. I think Boris needs him. He's not 100%. And I think that time will tell, but I would like him to stay because I think he's a breath of fresh air.
Melanie, I think the key to this, I mean, Boris Johnson clearly is prepared to tough this out and keep him, and there are about 20 Tory MPs who've called on him to go, and there was a lot of score settling going on yesterday, but also, Melanie, there was a huge amount of public anger, and there's nowhere better to get that sort of litmus test of where public opinion is than LBC, because 24/7 people are ringing in, giving comments, thoughts and opinions. And some of the anger on LBC last night and through today was really, really strong. And my feeling is, Melanie, if he's done enough to get people to think, well, what he did, it may not have been perfect, but you know what? It's not the end of the world. If he achieves that, he will stay in his job. I mean, do you feel, let me ask you, do you feel more kindly inclined towards him now than you did 2 hours ago?
Yes, I definitely do. I think that he came across very human. I think his concern, he's obviously a family man. I think he's been an idiot. I think he has a knee-jerk reaction. I think he has got arrogance, but who hasn't in a position like that has to have a certain self-protection as well. I think he didn't come clean to start with because I think he was fearful of the situation. Yes, I do think he slightly concocted his story to make sure it was right.
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely.
He get cross-examination.
Absolutely, yeah. But Melanie, yes. against that, he was in a privileged position. He was able to make this choice. I understand why he did it, but there are many, many others who'd like to have gone to second homes or families in the country that didn't do so. And of course, equally, the real anger, Melanie, that was coming through to LBC, people say, look, I haven't seen my grandparents, I couldn't go to, family funerals, I couldn't see people in hospital who were dying, and yet he thinks he can go and sit by a river, walk through the woods and drive up to Durham. That's been the anger, Melanie, hasn't it?
It has definitely, but I mean, walking the woods on private property is acceptable.
It is.
I walk my dogs, I go through woods, that's allowed. The situation with him going to Barnard Castle was I think, silly. I think, really not the idea of him going onto the motorway and driving back and then finding his eyesight's bad, he feels sick or whatever. A short trip, yes. It's all a bit of a mess up. But at the end of the day, he's human.
That was not a believable story. But Melanie, thank you very much indeed. And Melanie, who clearly was slightly impressed by him. And if public anger calms down, he will stay in his job. It's up to you, folks. Castle trip, unjustified. Otherwise, he might have got away with it.